Hey guys, today I want to talk to you about a topic that's very near and dear to my heart. Unfortunately, if I say what it is in the first 7 seconds, I can't monetize this video, so yeah, we should be good by now. The topic is when the AI acts like absolute dickhead ass clowns. I mean, the things that really tilt us. Why do we tolerate some bad behavior from our computer rivals, while other things they do drive us up the wall? I think there's a pattern to it. I'll start with an example. In a semi-recent stream, I played a random map on Demigod. The AI parked a single unit blocking this one-tile choke point, locking me into this tiny little section of the map. I can't expand north, I can't even scout north, and I was stuck on this flimsy little peninsula. This is bad, but it's far from the worst thing I've seen them do. But why shouldn't it be? Well, I've broken it down to 3 key criteria. 3 things will consistently enrage a human player. Number 1, it must hurt the human player. Number 2, it must be behavior that the human player can't or wouldn't do. And 3, it must hurt the AI. That last one might feel wrong. Why would we not want the AI to hurt itself? But consider this. In Alpha Centauri, you can turn on a setting that makes you able to walk around your starting settler. If you do, the AI will sometimes just walk around their settler for 40 turns. And in Civ 3, I remember a game where the AI was on 3 cities and sprinted across the map to declare war on me, despite me having a massive empire. Maybe it's just me, but when the AI sandbags like this, I feel kind of slighted, even if it doesn't really harm me at all. It's like tapping on someone's shoulder and saying, "Tag, you're it," and then they just stand there and they don't chase you. Like, I mean, sure, you did win the game of tag, I guess, but were you ever really playing? Or were you just making a fool out of yourself? That kind of bizarre seppuku behavior from the AI earns 3 on the dickhead scale. Oh, at this point I should introduce the dickhead scale. From least to most frustrating, we have Gandhi, Gilgamesh, Henry the Navigator, Montezuma, and Gandhi. And for the record, that is Civ 4 Montezuma, not the MILF Montezuma from Civ 3. So, punching bag, competent bro, regular trickster, aggressive asshole, and complete and total psychopath. Got it? Good. I'll offer some more proof of my system. The AI from Sid Meier's Alpha Centauri is well loved, and their personalities are considered one of the game's strengths. They do completely dirty things, but they're always acting in their own self-interest, often the exact type of thing that humans would do. So for example, the AI will ask for a tech in exchange for peace, and then after you've said yes, they then refuse to make peace unless you give them an additional tech. This hurts the human player, and I guess it's not something that the human can do, although humans certainly do abuse the peace process to extract things from AI rivals. But people don't complain about this much, because when the AI does it, it feels like they're smart and they're playing to win. This is only a 2 out of 5 on the dickhead scale. Another example from Alpha Centauri is their tendency towards cannibalism, in a figurative sense. I don't know. It depends what you really think is going on in those recycling tanks. But typically, in most 4X and grand strategy games, if you're losing a war, you can get out of it. Often you'll have to wait a fixed amount of time to make peace, and if you're weak, they might ask for techs or a city, but you can get out. Not in Alpha Centauri. If they are winning and they want to continue, they are going to stomp your skull into the dirt. They're going to keep waging war and refuse to even negotiate peace. They don't want you to concede or capitulate. They want to exterminate you. It's a bit of a violation of the social contract of strategy games, but it's one that most people end up being okay with. For one, people hate giving up cities in peace deals, and most would rather just abandon the save file than to do that. But also, it makes them seem ruthless and more human-like. It's like John Schaefer said about Civ 5, if you want the AI to act like humans, they have to act like psychopaths sometimes, which is rough, but it is relatable. And if it fits thematically with the game, as it does in Alpha Centauri, it's a win. This one, again, gets 2 out of 5 on the dickhead scale. So, what kind of behavior actually gets people riled up? Well, let's look at Civ 4. In Civ 4, you can try being buddy-buddy with everybody, but sooner or later, they get on each other's nerves. And when that happens, they come to you. They ask you to declare war without any preparation or warning. Yeah, just cancel your commitments and declare war in the middle of the AI's turn. That's a great idea. And if you say no, they will hold it against you. All of them, because they are all asking for this. The effect isn't huge, but it happens every single game and consistently bogs you down. And it's just silly. Human players would never make ridiculous demands of the AI like this, and if they did, they would run into the brick wall that is the way that the computer factions are programmed. So to me, that's a 4 out of 5. At this point, we need to get a little bit more technical. Let's talk about game theory. Game theory comes up when you have two or more actors whose outcomes depend on each other's choices. Different relationships between the relative sizes of the payoffs from these outcomes produce certain patterns of incentives in psychology. The most famous of these is probably the prisoner's dilemma, but there are a lot of different games, some of which lead to some notable or unintuitive outcomes. Today we'll be talking about chicken. This is a sample payoff matrix for chicken. Players are trying to bluff each other to stand down. If you get your rival to stand down, you can get some modest gains. If nobody stands down, you get a catastrophe. Often, the way we picture this is two cars driving straight at each other. Whoever swerves loses and gets called a chicken, but you better hope that somebody swerves. Threatening a war is like a game of chicken. Only if you're playing versus the AI, it can be like driving straight into a brick wall. The wall is not going to swerve. If they're hard programmed to call your bluff, you cannot bluff. I think this is why when I asked my audience, a lot of people mentioned AI threats as the worst behavior in Civ 3. Of course, in Civ 3, you can successfully threaten the AI, and when they threaten you, you can call their bluff, and often they won't declare war. But I think the game theory element is why a lot of people are upset with this here. In certain situations, it's like half of the chart is grayed out, and the game no longer becomes even remotely symmetrical. 3 out of 5 on the scale. But I think that there may be some better examples of this. Like in Civ 3 and Alpha Centauri, typically the AI will declare war if you fail to steal a tech, and in Old World, the AI will actually demand that you give them random cities during peacetime, not in a peace treaty, while you're already at peace. These versions of the phenomenon are much more punishing to play around, so I'd give them a 4 out of 5. So, game theory is one reason why the AI might be able to pull off a tactic that the human player cannot, but sometimes that stubbornness is backed up by the game's programming. One of the worst happens with Conquest in EU3. You can occupy territory, but without 100% war score, you can only annex if they sign off on the peace deal. But of course, you can't make them do that. The AI can just refuse in some cases. No, they have a city half the world away, and unless you're Zheng He and ready for an expedition to Africa, you're stuck in a limbo of perpetual war where you can't annex what you've taken. They just get veto power on a basic functionality of your game. That is a 4 out of 5 on the scale. I need to mention forward settling. This one really depends on how egregiously the AI is just turbo fucking their own game just to plant a city right in your face. I can't give a rating to it, it's case by case, but it can potentially be quite high. So we've covered a lot of interesting stuff today, but I wanted to get to hit on some 5 out of 5s. And fittingly, both of the examples I've found come from Civ 2. The first has to do with the unit blocking. A little of this is inevitable, but the most egregious version is here, and maybe also in colonization. With this version, the AI walks into your land and then just fortifies on an important road or tile. Not like they got stuck there by accident. No, they are just here to mess with you. And you're not at war, so you can't kill their stuff. This accomplishes almost nothing for the AI, but it baits the human player into a war that nobody wants, potentially with additional diplomatic penalties for breaking treaties. And if you tried this with them, the AI would just knee-jerk kick you out. This is an easy 5 out of 5. But there's one thing that's worse. This tactic kind of ties everything together. Human players accept that the computer will behave differently. We know that it's dumb that the AI will vote for us in a diplomatic victory, or that they can see the whole map at all times, but we suspend our disbelief. It's essential towards us enjoying the game. We're okay with a game of, diplomacy, where we're Great Britain and they're Russia. It's okay for things to be asymmetrical, because asymmetry is part of the game. But that's the thing. It has to feel like the AI is still playing the game with us. If they stop interacting with the systems, we feel cheated. In Civ 6, often they will immediately denounce you a few turns after meeting you, even if you send a delegation. Usually you can fix this eventually, but not in Civ 2. Due to a bug, later patches of Civ 2, including Test of Time, had the most demented AI. They would stop trading techs or anything productive, and enter a cycle of perpetual ceasefires and declarations of war. Whatever intelligence existed in this artificial intelligence has been lobotomized and replaced by pure hatred for the human player. That's a strong 5 out of 5 for me. So that's it. Let me know in the comments what your most infuriating experience was with the AI, and I'll rate it out of 5. I want to do more video essays like this, putting in good effort and then tying together some of my experience with a few different 4X games. If you want more videos like this, leave a like on the video or subscribe to my channel. Cheers.